All right, good morning. So we'll start with Lama Tsongkhapa Guru Yoga and then Refuge in Bodhicitta at the end. On the heart of the sever of the 100 deities of the Siddha, on the peak of cloud resembling cloudmonk of extremely white fresh curd, King of Dhamma, omniscient Losam Drakpa, please come here together with your sons. In the sky before me, on line throne, lotus and moon, my perfect pure Guru smiles with delight. Supreme field of merit from mind of faith, please abide for 100 eons to spread the teachings. Your holy mind is the intelligence that understands the full extent of objects to be known. Your holy speech with its action and explanation is an ear ornament for those of good fortune. Your holy body is radiantly beautiful with glory renowned. To you are meaningful to see, hear, and remember are prostrate. Cleansing drinking water, various flowers, ranked in incenses, light-scented waters, and so forth. Oceans of cloud-like offerings, both actually arranged and mentally emanated. I offer to you the supreme field of merit. Whatever non-virtue of body, speech, and mind, especially those opposite to the three vows that are collected from beginningless time, I confess each and every one with fervent regret from my heart. You strove for much learning and practicing in this degenerate age and made your freedoms and richnesses meaningful by abandoning the 8 worldly concerns. Several will sincerely rejoice in your extensive deeds. Perfect pure holy gurus from the billowing clouds of wisdom and compassion in the sky of the Dhammakaya. Please let fall a rain of a profound and extensive Dhamma upon the receptacles of those to be subdued exactly as they need. May whatever virtue I've collected benefit the teachings and all transmigrated beings, and in particular may it cause the essence of perfect pure Losam Drakpa's teachings to shine forever. Sa-shi po-ki ju-shi-me-to Tam-ri-ra-blik-shi Ni-de-ge-pa-di Sa-ge-shi-du Mi-te-o-wa I-to-ku-na-da Shin-la-chu-pa-shu. By the merits of having offered this mandala to Lama Tsongkhapa and 2 sons, may I, my family members, and all sentient beings be able to meet, practice, and actualize the teachings of the victorious one, Losam Drakpa. Where the morality of an eminently pure way of life was courageous in his sensitive conduct of the sons of the victorious ones, and accomplished the yoga of the 2 stages of supreme bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamniyatayami. By the force of having fervently requested in this way, hollow beams of white light are emitted from the hearts of the perfect pure Father and Sons, and combining into one enter my crown. White nectar, the color of milk, flows in the opening of 2 of white light, cleansing all my sicknesses, spirit harms, negative karmas, obscurations, and their imprints without exception. My body becomes as pure and clear as crystal. We will recite the 5-line Mixama verse 3 times. Mimetse wete chen chen rezi, jime kimbe wambo champe yan, dupu malu jomze samweda, kanche kiebe tsunge tsongapa, losan drakpe shabla sowa de. Mimetse wete chen chen rezi, jime kimbe wambo champe yan, dupu malu jomze samweda, kanche kiebe tsunge tsongapa, losan drakpe shabla sowa de. Mimetse wete chen chen rezi, jime kimbe wambo champe yan, dupu malu jomze samweda, kanche Kembe Tsugen Tsongapa, Los Tandrape Shabla Sowa De.
Sangi Chedan Sogi Chonam La Changshu Bardu Dami Kyabsun Chi Dagi Chishi Gibanza Dag Drola Benji Sangi Drupa Sho Sanji Chodan Soji Chonamla Chanchu Bardu Dami Kapsun Dagi Chushe Gebanda Dagi Drolam Benshi Sanji Drupara Shu Sanji Chodan Soji Chonamla Chanchu Bardu Dami Kapsun Dagi Chushe Gebanda Dagi Drolam Benshi Sanji Drupara Shu 강기 투즈니 존에 따와 담제 밤비체를 담비 준 된제 과담제라 창제로 Good morning everyone. Good to see you.
Sorry? Bad luck. There you go. Could you switch it off and on, please? The projector. Thank you. You're a magician.
이런 거니 주소디 전에 소야라면 장수 calendar.
Yeah. Well, this is not a weather for sitting in class and studying. It's the weather to go down to the beach and just have a swim. So let's do the dedication, you know.
당한저 자파상 님에게 람람 ngoto chegoresra just sabato dilibanan.
Anyway, what we've been doing during the Friday morning teachings is going through an introduction to the steps of the path to enlightenment, or as it is called in Tibetan language, Lamrim.
Derda da kabdu 마시온데 그냥서 직전에 거기 초기 메뉴로 차시를 싸워사장인 바이나 타이나가 좀 골을 되거나 영마를 왔으라.
And so we reach a certain point in the text in which we're looking at a particular practice. And for those of you who are hearing it for the first time, it might be a little bit difficult to relate to it. But this is how it is. You know, it's hard to go back to the very beginning and do it all over again without really completing the text. So apologies if it doesn't make sense.
대장안도 공도 줘야 주디 단지 산지 쳐서 되는데 산지 쳐긴 된세 캡숨 그러 아니 디난게다 산지 캡된 먹고 아니 주 아니 기비신이 거티 되니 아니 추 셔려야 추군족 아니 길류군족 아니 되니마다 그 대과 침벽이 로장 속에 지속 파신 주기난 게다 전부 좀 서버 정도 아니 something 디코디 아니면 저 shoot somebody else, right?
And so we began this session with reciting the verse for refuge and bodhicitta. And so in going for refuge, we go for refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And we develop certain attitudes with respect to these three objects of refuge. So we see the Buddha as being a virtuous friend. The Dhamma that the Buddha taught for us is the Dhamma jewel, and then we also go for refuge to the Sangha jewel. What we do is we train a man along the stages of the Mahayana path in looking at a section that we've already covered in the text. So training a mind along the perfection of generosity, ethical discipline, patience, joyous effort, absorptions. So particularly at this point in time, we are looking at a more detailed explanation of the way to train in the perfection of absorption.
텔다트니 실라니 색 아닌 타미기 렌스 남아서나 기체 수직이 이긴 거를 다 주신이 땡인증 통에 다 신의 주당 거디 다 간지 돌드나 곰 잡단디 라 곰 잡단 거디 송고도스.
And so particularly here, we are looking at the way to combine shamatha and vipassana, or in English, karma abiding and special insight. So for us, it constitutes a crucial topic, a very important topic. So we begin with the way to cultivate karma abiding, which constitute in short, the way to meditate.
텔다 곰 잡온디게 곰 잡온디 다 곰 잡단라 망부인 거라서라 가시기 아니 즉 샘나오야 찌야 마섬니 아니 대야기 곰디땡이 윤거레스 티야 그 네급 소소그 샘벌을 차야 비 수고라야 나오서야 소바 아니 처음 있어야지 제투야게 네바지 윤고도 아서라 단다디 안간주 셰디아티 아니 쭈샘 샤사기 미바치 살탑 로 아니 미바 텔야 아니 샘 때니 샘 균종 지당 거치 레샤스.
And as such, there are many forms of meditation. Some practice a meditation in which they try to not think of anything whatsoever. And indeed, if we cultivate that form of meditation, it might bring about temporary respite, in that if we do not let different thoughts arise in our mind for a certain duration, then temporarily there might be some physical relaxation and also mental relaxation. And so there's some benefit arising from that meditation, and this is a temporary benefit. But here we are speaking of a different type of meditation. So we are here looking at a meditation in which the mind, first of all, is focusing upon a particular object. It is something that we visualize, and the mind is being attended to what we visualize. And the goal of the meditation is to extend, to enlarge, to extend the duration in which the mind can stay attentive on that object of meditation.
테레샤다 단정골로 중가고 첨보게 지양 비기 일라메제니 아니 곰 잡단디 takabam dele ya jarchini ani ka na yores kalu ka dan ro di kares laondi chien yela ma chewa na an di gi tumje dele ya chien me ba yungre ma do dele ya tumje mix wa ji thensha yo mares ranga zu gu gom gya di tumje mix wa ji le ming gom gya go yo za ani mi ba ngi jin mi ba so ni gom gya go ya di nenga reshas ko ta ju ye bi ton 송고도 아스라 고기요 든지 송고레스라.
And so as we read through Lama Tsongkhapa's explanation of the way to develop this form of meditation, we will see that Lama Tsongkhapa sometimes vehemently refutes this model of meditation in which we take nothing whatsoever as an object of mind. And so there is a reason why Lama Tsongkhapa refutes that mode of meditation as being a meditation on karma abiding or shamatha. And the reason is that if we take nothing whatsoever as an object of mind, as an object for our meditation, the result would also occur with that. There would be nothing in particular that could be accomplished through just taking nothing whatsoever as an object of our mind. And so here, when we, in a very specific sense, cultivate this Buddhist meditation in which we combine both karma abiding and special insight, our goal is to attain a particular thing, to accomplish a particular thing. And if we want to accomplish something that is particular, we need to train our mind in a way that accords with that. And so Here we combine both the Buddhist philosophical view together with Buddhist practices in order to then form or accomplish a particular state.
테레다 당한주 남바 상기비다 최시건자 디시송 지원디게 아니 곰갸야디 미유질이야 미니 로 미유 토브샤질이야 수수 토브샤질이야 아니 미버 디손니 디토비야 체도다 곰갸요레스 더 토브샤디 네가 토브샤 타르바세 로 뉴무 밤비게 밤바 뉴무 비기다 아니 도샤세던 티무숭 쯔비 아니 뉴무 밤비게 밤바티 토비체도 곰갸수 찍당 찍려야 아니 상기 공방 뉴무마다 시지드바 세저다 로 참아 세비 아니 견군세 간지 연된 군딩게 아니 기우니 상기 공방 토야 체도 아니 곰갸니 미유케다 니고요 나네 단단간주 디시에 돼야디 탈바츠마인바 아니 상기 공방 토비체도 아니 곰갸가 연자 미박 니진지 송고야디 nengachaga waresro.
But here, when we look at it from the point of view of the Buddha Dharma, what we speak of is cultivating a meditation which has a certain objective. This is what we want to attain. And so we use our meditation in order to attain, first of all, the state of liberation, the state in which our mind is free from afflictive states of mind, from disturbing emotions. Or if we extend our objective further than that, we use a meditation in order to attain the state of Buddhahood, an omniscient state in which we are free from both cognitive obscurations and afflictive obscurations, in which all faults have been completely eliminated and all positive qualities have been developed. And so, in order to attain these particular types of results, either liberation from afflictions, or in order to attain the state of Buddhahood, the type of meditation that we need to do is more specific than just not thinking of anything or not taking anything as an object of mind.
그래서 당한주 상기 공부 토비하기 쳐도 공개하면서 미국 상기 꾸질래야 미니 상기 꾸질래야 미니 아니 샘 텔 때바이나 아니 그거 해봤지 요리했으니 딱 가정에만 송차송스라.
And so, since our goal is to attain the state of Buddhahood, here this type of meditation that Lama Tsongkhapa expounds says that it is useful to focus on an image of a Buddha, on a Buddha body. And the purpose for that was explained previously.
다딜야 아니 존나 라다 존나 피 콘라지 임박인 두시 맞아지는디 산기 무게 산점된데 무반 두시샤네 아니 샘때 토바나 아니 그거 켜버진 세든 주고스레스라.
And so, that being the case, when we choose a Buddha image in order to use it as a focus for meditation, we begin first of all with studying the details of a statue. And so if you then first of all begin with a statue of a Buddha, then rather than thinking about it just as a statue, it is said in the context of the training that we take up that there is a particular purpose to see that as being a Buddha in reality, Buddha in actuality, not just a statue, but an actual Buddha in front of you.
그래다 미국발 대비 갑둘라 미국디 샘라야 세우 차고야디 내가 찍 레샤스 아니 미국발에 샘 내고야디 내가 레샤스 다 딩이 세우다 내차니초 토니 아니 경경치야디 아니 송고도스 딘자 하장 미국발 세타와이나 야 아니 내차래 내대와 야 내차 숙침고 여바이나 야 시부 메바이나 아니 가서다 야디 경경치야래 내대와 로 아니 간지 아니 그게 가겐다 마소나 거버다 지원생인데 레야기 아니 년가 차로여서 아니 디 렘부친 로 렘부치니 아니 샘 때니 공고야디 개침부리스 당간스 데리시에 디레샤스 디니마 송고도스.
And so we choose a certain image for the cultivation of concentration. Then we take it up as a mental image and we think about it as being a Buddha in actuality. And in so doing, we need to then maintain the first point, which is clarity. So to develop mental clarity with respect to what we observe, that's one point. And the second one is the aspect of abidance, which means to be able to remain placed upon that object, which means that there are two factors that we want to bring into our meditation on concentration, the aspect of clarity and the aspect of abidance, so that if we combine them together, we will be able to extend the duration of time in which the mind can stay placed upon that object. And so when we take it up as a practice, if the mind becomes in some sense too clear or overly clear, it can cause a certain distraction or disruption, and thereby the mind will not be able to remain placed or abiding on that object. Or, so in that sense, too much clarity can undermine stability or abidance. Or another scenario that might play out is that while you have a continuous abidance on that object, you're losing clarity. There's no clarity. That, again, can also undermine the ability of the mind remaining placed upon that object. So in short, what we want to prevent is mental laxity and mental excitement. These two states are dangerous states when we cultivate concentration. And therefore, when we take up the practice of concentration, we want to develop a measured mind, a mind that has those two aspects of clarity, but also abidance. And this is the point in the text that we've been covering, the way to develop concentration, which is free from laxity and excitement.
아니 어디래샤 디지디 디 갑라야 맹아 들이야 믹디 축첨부 다음이 데 나다 용거 말와 믹 베드 좀 마데스 믹디 코란소 샤체니 나지 야 최도지리야 된 데바이나 아니 곰 균경 지엘이야 쇼치키 아니 펜도여스 토미 차려야 this 아니 마데바여네야 코 곰바이나 디 아니 균댕 디 펜체여스 딘디게 맹아직 땡그도스라.
And so as we take up this form of meditation, as we begin, it's good to not keep the mind wide open, but also not to completely shut our eyes. So the common instruction that is given is to allow the gaze to dwell in an area that is directly from the tip of your nose. So this is helpful. And when you take it up in meditation, it might not be comfortable at the beginning. But still, if you persist with that, on the long run, it will be beneficial.
쇼깅하고 뒤서지다 원다추 뒤서지래야 때니 아니 곰게야디야 내가 지기요레스 로 간주다 지기지디기 지원 숙체라죠지 지기지디기 샘도 고바 숙체라죠지 레고라스 다 아니 때나 공다 깔이야 사르브니 지원디 다 지원디 아니 숙체기 연자 아니 지원간 로 지원간에 조 아니 사착된 곰이야 나도 찰이야다 지당기 민도달이야 나도 찰이야다 아니 니세 아니 샘타운디 아니 지 고바 숙체기 연자 아니 고바간이 비기 내차 때문에 곰거리스
저는 그런 뒤에 슈게 야람네 구바차 단 건다 치오차.
아하 아
아베 독초를.
그래서 저등이 저당 찾으라서 이 저당 찾네.
And so when we look at the way that some other texts explain this form of meditation, some of them also refer to the time of the day when you apply that form of meditation. And they speak about sitting for meditation in the morning and in the evening. So that in the evening, they said during sunset, there's a greater danger for laxity to set in. And so particularly in that point of the day around sunset, you work on enhancing the clarity so that the mind is prevented from sinking. In the morning, as we wake up and we open our eyes, the mind tends to become scattered. And so there is a particular emphasis on developing a factor of abidance.
들다 디치당기 기치당 계절하셨어요. 강사 소소라야 감다 아니 딘디가 조담면다 요라스 대sol라 지당한주 검자한테 도지 기름치 조조시 대해선 거라스 얘는 내된 주주나는 바보 바꾸라서야디 반예단친 애니 님 검자나 또바게 내라 용거라스 그 믹스 딘디 용거라스라.
And so in my conversation with Geshe, I just wanted to make sure that I got it right, because I said that actually for me, it works the other way around. You know, in the evening, my mind is too all over the place. It might be in the morning, my mind is too sluggish. And so Geshe said that this is just a general indication that you find in scripture. But of course, as human beings, as people, we have different dispositions. So these scenarios might play out differently for different people. After all, also you find that a general advice for a meditation posture that you find in scripture is to sit in what we call the Vajra posture, so to sit cross-legged and so forth in a certain posture that some people find really complicated. And yet, when you look at the presentation of the 16 arhats that were foremost Buddhist practitioners, one of them, Arya Pakula, was said to having meditated in a supine position, claiming that it is way easier to develop realizations in this fashion.
차 먼저 쇼기 알는 거라. 나 우빠요라. 우빠 사람이.
나 우빠르네.
우빠.
So in Tibetan culture, if you know, people that are a little bit awkward, they do things back to front, are called owls, in a sense that most birds, they wake up in the morning and they become active. And then during sunset, you can say in general, they go to sleep, whereas this is a time where owls stop waking. So if you want to say that someone is doing things completely backwards, upside down, or inside out, or front to back and back to front and so forth, we said that that person is an owl. Geshe is indicating that there is an owl amongst us.
그들다 디마레스라 당한주 쇼인데 참 많이 로그인스. 저야.
그래서 가가 카넬 로그.
아니 가서 참셨어.
참셨어 거예요.
그러네.
근데 딜라 산도 고민기 소야스도 디제라.
산도 고민 비시래요. 산도 고민 카르츠 카르도.
그런 탄다 카와 직선다.
정로 렘빈 참니.
오케이, 되게.
랑기 딱바나 리본 팜데 좀씩 되나? 거밖에 이번 누구냐면 세텔을 흘러 늦좀 시라샤나 지원께라원 누구냐면 세텔이 판토를 출러 조출러 차오스.
All right, and so we're going to now go back to the text and pick up from the point that we left off in the previous session. So we've been looking at a way to develop calm abiding using a faultless mode of meditation, and a faultless mode of meditation teaches how to, following that also, teaching how to avoid faults of laxity and excitation. So we're going to continue with the text, and it says, as for the points where tightness and relaxations are balanced, investigate this for yourself. You should be more relaxed than the mind state where you think, if I tighten it this much, excitement will surely arise. And you should also place it above that mind state where you think, if I place it only here, laxity will easily arise. In the context of the first and second mental states, the novel, actually, let's leave it here. See what Geshe has to say. Yeah.
어딜다 당한주기 숑 코란 디 드고요 반자 안주 숑디 자르고 거레스터와 걔한줄 믹스기 제어매바는 안주 숑 잔 만드나 답대보요 말이야. 대한줄 믹스기 사바틴 릴레온디 당원은 참장라야 배는 아란로이나 다 미두스 사바레스 당한주 견댕 디마시아는 콘솔 체크한지 고사 말에 상상 손난들이 연구도 다 딜레디 시에 마데바로처럼 시에 마데바로 연구도 되느냐 탑시스키 만도스라 타이나 캬한주 제와칼 이나 지초그레스 나도단다 자파산다 자니마디 만속쳇 랑안수 디초데야디 만속쳇 라 지구연자 견사발레 아니 제와칼이여 봐야냐 아니 지금 난추 톨이야 인지민이 비 사진들단 제고 말에 아니 저 가려내 나가서 지와이나 아주 심바디 아니 랭잡 초그레스 로
And so we will continue with the reading of this section, but still at the same time, Geshe feels sometimes a little bit uneasy about only doing this during the teaching. In that here amongst us, we have people that have been studying with us regularly. So we studied at least this text as a general teaching for the public on Fridays and Sundays. But also, almost always, we also have new people that come in, and Geshe feels that particularly when we get to technical points such as this, if you just read through them, it might not be relevant to some people here. So if you have any questions, we can also do that, incorporate that into those sessions. So, although this is the way that we have to do it, Geshe said, as we've been following this text, and it seems that we also need to make sure that we cover some sections at the same time. It's not always easy. So what can you do? Just do your best. And so if we have people here that have some questions, not necessarily on this section of the text, but in general, questions about Buddhism, don't have to be related to everything that we say here in this session. If you have any questions, then Geshe said that as much as he can. If he has an answer, we'll try to explain it clearly. So have you got any questions? Mr. Jason? Depends if you're going to do a long question or a very short. Okay. You're being being put on the spot here. Five words. No, I'm just joking. Yeah. And so you said that you had a recommendation for meditating in the morning. So is it an advice given because the mind is clear, kind of maybe personally, but also generally? Yeah. Yeah, kind of, people might be still asleep, so there are not many people around, and also the mind is still not disturbed by different thoughts. So yeah, not having watched too many cat clips on YouTube. Yeah. dila nangyung kalagi resena shuge ngabo yalla ne gongya waina yakshu dende chigire sigire. Ta data la sano chita waina gyumtsen kare min sano ta waina halam ganto shuge yalla ne sende de nato minda dende chi shata yomare di gyumtsen soso gigito ne dende gyumtsen dende chi she yorve yamane yan chidan jenanga so mi chizola min dende chi kase kanjumanju chewaina sena sinja 된다고 지켜와이나 공gia 칼레카고 차기로 왔어 세상 김sen 디르베스 더 페난 조게 야란네 덴데지 카바 마타바제 데모다민다 마타바제 유튜브 마타바제 셈르르 덴데지 남토 마시라 김sen 디르베스
균제 망부이 유지레스라 저당이다 온니기 비다 메세기 곰게아니라 냠낸 제등의 속이 아니 쇼기 뒤져도 쉬우 짜증 붙이기도 왔어 지고를 또 사운드 바이나 아니 간주 류단 셈이디 제와 쇼지겨라 더 류드 셈이 제와 여러스 더 류기 페나 인공로질라 다 멍체 내가 지고라 더 내가 지니 삼나 내가 지 아니 공다 차원디게 수부 탕체로지 수부 탕체원디 아니 셈데 녀야 이 지상로케 마단 파데바이나 렐하 인고라다 아니 공다 비기 투서 딱다들 니니 아니 쇼기기 하도라야 니세원디 란신기 니세원디 아니 수부디 ngansoyasares and dichani 아니 셈바 디테스직 아니 양부로지 찍대인 거사res 아니 찍니 쇼기기 ngan주 아니 쇼기 나오기 남시 임바이나 찬양바로지 인공 차원디게 아니 가리는 지금도 아다지 지고 사고서지 딘지 매바 간지 뒤 칠로긴 종의 찬이 임바이나요 쇼기 상로 땅인데 장원당 륜컴 그 찬이 임바 쇼기 상로 땅인데 장와 로 아니 지 칼라이나 주부는 칼라 강가마 슈르차 아니 수보데 간지 수보들 흘러서르자 딘지 nen가 망부 인고였사레스
Yeah, there are some explanations that say that the best time to meditate is early morning. That's particularly valid for those who take the meditation practice to be a solid practice for the remaining of their life, or spend a big portion of their life doing meditation practice. For them, the morning session is very important. And there are different reasons for that. First of all, we can acknowledge that our body and mind are strongly related. That's to begin with. But when we look at what we do in general in human society, most of us need to work. We do different things. And so if we then postpone our meditation practice to nighttime or to evening time, it is very possible that we will get to our meditation session where the body is already quite tired. Now, if the body is tired, the mind is likely to be sluggish. And so maybe an easier form of meditation at that point is not to engage the mind in too many points to think of, but just to let the mind relax. Then if we work during the day and we feel tired, we go to sleep, and when we wake up in the morning, at least the body is rested so that the mind feels lighter. And so if we then do morning sessions in our motivation, the body is relaxed and the mind is also relaxed. And so if we then look at what happens to us in different periods during the day, it is very likely that during the morning time, our body will still be relaxed, the mind will be lighter. But then come noontime, the mind could be buzzing, but also no longer even as it was even in the morning, but more of maybe a feeling of heaviness or other sense of other forms of mental sensations. And also, it is likely that if we wake up in the morning, the body has already digested whatever food we have taken in, so the body will not have that sluggish sensation or having sensation or having to work hard on digesting food and so forth. And so altogether, for various reasons, it is said that it is better to meditate in the morning as we wake up rather than postponing into other parts of the day.
Energy legores, that to maybe Kabdullah, sounds down to when Yachi Yatamba, and Yabuch, see which down to us is.
And so you wake up in the morning, you go to the loo, then you brush your teeth and so forth. You sit for your meditation. And Geshe feels that if you start your meditation early after waking up, you'll find that your body is still relaxed and still light, and you can then apply your mind to a certain way of thinking in your meditation in a way that is better. Also, if we keep our meditation to the period of the day, early morning, it is likely that also the external environment would be more relaxed, particularly if we live an urban life where there's a lot of commotion that builds up in the morning, during the day, and so forth. And so that also sometimes affects mode of meditation, in that if we, to begin with, meditate in a place that is very busy, there's a lot of hustle and bustle, it would be quite hard going. So it is said that also, just in terms of the external environment, not only we begin our session with the body and mind that are more even or light, but also there's less interruption from the external environment.
Trona kala look sajila, jitik dik sort of check that. The kanji teaching yungus, then Sanji Chom then dig that Chonra Ma Jeon dig Chonya Tudiang Pig Sevajonga, Sanjia Diang Sevajonga, Kunyangan Devadiang Sevajonga, and it Yolo Mambujilaya, Chunguku Tujan Sevajonga, Sevajonga Janjang Kideores. Did he Annie that Keba didn't song the Tuzula Nenga only Nenga Yugosara, and the Chi Joan down. Chi Joan Dang and to Lu Nang Navy, Joan Nimbo the shoe, Java and it Dawa P Nyakamico, the Dawa Chansan, Tony Kadulaya, and it Chi Joan the Chanyam which she does. Neither Shushu Mishida. Didn't Chi Joan Kazu Chanyam but Titsugi, and Luke Lukumgi Joan the Chanyam Ingres. Lukum Joan the Chanyam and Lu Zalaya long to so in the Chanyambu. And it's some low team by the Chanyambu down to Tinjiki Keva Yoris, Songu Tendent to Zology, Nenga Giosaris, Ra.
Then if we sit to meditate right after having food, well, just by having food, the body is becoming heavier. So in that sense, that even that can affect the quality of one's meditation. Now, as we also said, the external elements also might affect the makeup of the body. And so, therefore, it is said that at particular times of the moon cycle, our meditation might be more affected by the external elements. And so when we look at that, for example, in relation to the Buddha's life, it is said that the Buddha was born, attained the state of enlightenment, passed away, and also turned the wheel of Dharma. All of them happened during full moon time, at the 15th of the month. And so during those times of the month, it is said that the elements are balanced, and also since they also correlate to the elements in our body, then when we meditate at a time in which the external elements are balanced, also there would be more balance in our internal elements. Particularly when we consider that from the point of view of the presentation of having a system of energy channels going through our body, and there are wind energies operating along those channels. So if the external elements and the internal elements are more aligned in a sense that they are more balanced, that will also affect the quality of one's meditation. And those are general instructions, recommendations that are given in scripture. Geshe said that he himself doesn't know them in and out in a very kind of, you could say, profound or deep way, but at least this is how it is commonly explained.
아니 최체 두바이나 난주 켈랭엔서 그러 아니 딜이야 아니 귤침부여레스 간지 아니 많이 살지 담바나 살 다자동 그 페이어스데 저 가르스나 상로도 장마 차고연자 로 아니 비 상로 땅에디 그 리버드 데마시 땅 두고연자 아니 델 디 tum지 침부 탱고 여바디 the loin drawdown was same drawdown was.
And so if we start a meditation in a time in which our mind is most amenable to that, to our practice of meditation, where our way of thinking will become more forceful, then that could make the whole purpose of meditation be so much more significant than just sitting and reciting hundreds or thousands of mantras. After all, it is said that the most powerful accomplishments are accomplished through our mental state. To Nis Dansong.
Yeah.
All right. So Shannon is asking, are there particular meditations one should do sitting upright as opposed to lying in supine position? For instance, is there a particular effect going on with the subtle winds in the body that would be affected differently according to one's posture? Kangi pakula manyen tokpake ya tabda shuras na chik sundwa. Dila teokaresena gonkashi dan Toto dena yakshures kashi manyene yakshures ne chik mixegi den de chik son yorve dena dila doji semba nanchin di Toto dena chene yagarve manyena chene yagare den de chik shung dila chik she yorve semares
and shongla jidang zozo de shewaras tanda di khansna 단지시원 난생 안주기 리부 짜다 짜롱던 제와 요반자 아니 강사 소수 짜롱더다 문자였어요. 파파 바꾸라가 꿀루 짜롱더단디 지에 가서 믹스와지 요반자 디파니 바난신치는 니바야나 아니 짜강가 아니 란네라 바 쾌토야지 남기 견댕 간조 아니 도지기 좀다 주부 갑도 샤고야디 Lug zad takta korang salaya shatu yobanza and del dembig zal dembig long rodang de yagu yungores and it semt zama yungores dishegoras ra.
And so in scripture there's no, it seems that there's no specific reference to which meditations are better done sitting in a cross-legged position, and which meditations are better done lying in a supine position. Geshe reckons that at the end of the day, it probably has to do with the makeup of one's system of channels. So the explanation that we get is a general explanation, so you can call it a universal explanation, where it is likely that in reality, each and every one of us will have or might have a specific makeup of the system of energy channels. And so the whole idea of connecting the physical posture with the system of channels is that we want to be in a posture in which that system is well aligned so that it can also allow for an uninterrupted flow of wind energy in the body that will also support a mind that is clear. And so for Arya Bakula, that system was better aligned when it was lying down in a supine position. Though in general, it seems that at least in this tradition, by and large, the meditation posture that is recommended is while sitting cross-legged. And since that, again, the idea of sitting in this way, that in general, for most, the system of channels will be better aligned if we sit in this posture.
nganzo tasala ane kashige chakbe de dus kenen dendiga ya nyen nima ninga loding dindiga ra kanzo ko che yung gorda sowa dila ya is sosu lunkam gu za yin joda man de yawanza choda kharchena ya ra sosu la khar de and di sosu choda che jiren do bena cheza gonda yaga yawana gonda gomje shogi yaga yawana shogi gomje di sosu tamu choda che gormada ani me shambajigi kharang tsandira said lavya the amjiro mena kabu pero asra
Geshe, having studied for many years in his monastery, sees that there are people, monks, that have different dispositions. Like, for example, some do most of the studies while they are lying down, so they might lie down on the bed, hold the text, read the text, study the text while lying down. It works better for them. Whereas for others, it doesn't work. They'll studying in different physical posture. And so basically we have to find what works better for us. Since we do have different makeup, we have to find what works better for us. We don't have, or it is rare to find, let's say, a skilled physician that can tell you which posture you need to adopt when you're sitting for your meditation and so forth. So you just have to find it on your own pace. And so Paul is asking, is it okay to do the first meditation session before doing the 6 preparatory practices if it takes us a long time? Yo chuchu mache con la gomtes chena ya digere stigmales.
Tisu takda tangtungi jimano, tisu takda nro service ko kadi jilite. Correct.
Paul Geshe is saying that if you do things on timely, then you'll find the time also to do the 6 preparatory practices, where if you're always late to doing stuff, then it's likely that it's not going to work well for you. So you say is in cleaning the place, showering, making offerings. Dila kasadi. Kuran nenga tawdi karesena. Dila joa chutu dila karalagiresena di. Ne di chido tanwa tan lu den de tsama soya chobasha dila sowa di tsama mache kon la kesi shuge ya lambata garan kare sumana chimbatang ani ka ches ka chutu di shakya den de gongya na kande chinas
다 장무탄지 시에나라 나든지 치기스 아니 가마 then should ship some the ship to then it chain if you charge then you chop up in hang on it in the long and drink with us. Nangadi someone social did tap there to you with us. In a the and on the chop up with on the mambo rather. Most sham the each dress Laura. Teach Dioras.
Having said that, Geshe said, well, honestly speaking, this is what he does, what you suggested, Paul. So, wakes up in the morning, toilet break, brushes his teeth, and then starts his meditation, half an hour meditation. And after that, He makes a cup of tea, does offering, arranges offering on the altar. I mean, it's not really in line with what this text, Lama Tsongkhapa's text, is saying. Lama Tsongkhapa's text is saying that first off, do the 6 preliminary practices and then sit for your meditation, whereas Geshe says that, honestly speaking, first of all, starts with a short meditation and then it does the rest before continuing with the meditation. But also just as for arranging offerings and so forth, it is said, as it is said in the verses that we sometimes read through, both actually arranged and mentally emanated. And so, even doing offerings or arranging offerings on the altar, you can at least begin with those which are emanated before you arrange them. But also, Geshe said that in his house there is someone that is helping him to do the cleaning and such, and therefore, it doesn't really take time to do the 6 preliminary practices. Like it is said that, for example, the first preliminary practice is to arrange the place that you're going to practice in, to clean it and so forth. So if your house is clean anyway, you don't really need to do it. Whereas if you would have to, first of all, remove all the furniture aside, so if you kind of have to put some chairs on one side, other chairs on the other side, so you can start with doing the cleaning, washing and everything, of course, that will take a lot of time. Just.
Nge tsama suna kunzu so na jinge so shin sa mares ngara sha nga shal tsama sungi jora ani kumbeng so na nge so shin sa mares so to sa mares.
So Kumbeng is the one that helps Geshe with the cleaning. Geshe said that he can never live up to Kumbeng's standard of cleanliness. If he had to do it in the same way, no chance.
Indeed.
All right. And so there's another question about statements that we've either hear in teaching or in scriptures, not knowing to work whether they're correct or exaggeration. Like, for example, it might be said that when you take refuge in the Guru, you will not be harmed. But then when we think about it in an actual sense, like, for example, looking at that from the point of view of Tibetan history or otherwise, are such statements correct? Are they an exaggeration? What's the go with that? Dila pechete waina yaman sansan de chu shubaina dwa. Ta soya kashi labe kashi des ima chiba den do chi yongeresa. Ta di sansan kareina den de samlo chi kogirwa. Di monedeves Yamana di drop takbarabes kanichi means pena kashil kare sungyores and lamala capsu drawina no bachiem yongi mares chi
Nibachi yung mares.
no bachi yongi mares di pena logite waina peve logite waina tati lama tenayan ta real Peva logul di la gyamik suyon di chiktoshi da no basho chi yondwa. Chesan di Lama la kiaps to join and nuba yongi maresen said the dito la kandichi samlo tango gres the then the demba dekyan then the chick samlo tango greve test jotak pares chick hakpo gya den do chi gangre stanza nenga den do chi di chipo mai bai nenga kashi den de chi yongre di kandichi nas
당한주기 당예 섬주 쉐어스 라 예 섬주 쉐어 디지털로 담발로 그치
And so, in answering that, first of all, Geshe wants to preface that, but this is his idea about it.
테니 당함지 난주 장르스 이메지 난주 장 당당히 난주 때식 신고르스더라 소수 베셈 딩베 박페부 용야 소르징이 난주 신고르스 디시야디 라마 기비신인 가든 약식 도질 때는 총여르스 랑이 난주 신야 리바도디 아니 라마 기비신일 때는 총여르스
And so Geshe spent most of his life studying or training in Buddhism. And so he developed some understanding of the Buddha Dhamma, which says that helped him to develop a mind that is more relaxed, that is solely attributed to the kindness of his lamas, his virtuous friends.
더드닝이 찹식골 잠블링이 찹식 신가 말이스 디 마시아드 페시 라마 기위신일 때니 종사주로 지리스 이 라마 기위신일 때니 미치게 완자 민 잠블링이 찹식 신가 말이 소수 벤주 줍단 신가 말이 디 라마 기위신일 때니 종화레스 럽초그레스 더디 지겨리 디 네버리 디 펜버레스 라나 더디 미 게소소소게 따에르마도 지단 럽투야 카버렌다스 라
And so, having studied under his lamas, virtuous friends, Geshe said that he hasn't become knowledgeable of world stage politics. So he doesn't he's not learned of the way that politics works on a global level. Also, in relying upon a spiritual teacher, he hasn't become skilled in the way that finance works, economy and so forth. And so when you think of having relied upon a spiritual teacher and what you got and what you didn't get, like for example, having relied upon his spiritual teacher, not having become skilled or knowledgeable in global politics or finance, is it a benefit or is it a drawback? Or is it okay? Is it helpful? It is not helpful. Well, those things are for us to sort up on a very individual level. Now, is it better for us in this way or is it not better for us in this way?
인생 하나 때봐야나 단단히 나 가와드로나 가와데나야 예지 데사리 로사델야 펜 가주 토도 치고 삼삼라지 나 미수치래야 느끼하게 데버코라 메바디 Lama Givishin Cardinal Ten Choyores, that the Yashagatambares. Tijidi Naramezanalaya, Lama Givishin Ten Chonga, Mezanala, Yabu Chonsha, some Nala Pento Chonsha, some Rajimoto, Nala Nesha, some Kunitsavan, the 10 Samyangale, some Mandus.
And so then in relying upon his spiritual teachers, Geshe said up wherever he goes, wherever he stays, he finds that whatever he got from them is beneficial in terms of not considering harming others wherever he is or wherever he goes. And so at least he thinks that in terms of relying upon his spiritual teacher and not experiencing harm, he thinks about it in this way. So it's not experiencing harm in the sense that having trained his mind in relying upon his teacher, his inclination is such that he's not involved with harming others.
Dan dor diwaina chu ya chushon samdana lama givishin dembati yakshu pendo chishu ta tse digi rajik ani ta rangel shempam sorojeta senamandu kanji susugi sendi digi loncho drobdang tolaya ta mezedu se bigege chejan drobana karsa da sedele nurslana digmudu de ya jik susu ringa bushuchin benjo drobdang de test tusho sorin drogoras dindil samdang jimbayna ani lama givishin demba dig nugudu selaba ina 아니 최든직대 가가라왔어. 로. 땡이데 뉴그스라 투문도 쓰라. 디 캔사지도 쓰라.
And so when we examine that from a Dharma perspective, Geshe reckons that when we rely upon a spiritual teacher or virtuous friends, we'll find that it is solely of benefit rather than detrimental. But then when we look at it not from a Dharma perspective, but just from the point of view of our daily life, from the point of view of the world, we do go through different struggles with our daily affairs, and often we are trying to accomplish a particular thing in securing our own victory over others. So seeking victory, even if it means defeating others. Or, for example, we have to go through hoops and hurdles in order to amass some money, to work on a financial situation and so forth. And as such, you might say that, well, the ways of the Dhamma and the ways of the world are not completely aligned. And so whatever you do in the Dhamma might not necessarily work in that way in the world. But then if you take it to then the next step and say that actually when I try to apply the Dhamma in my daily life, for example, in the way that I do business or the way that I try to accumulate money and so forth, I found that developing a Dhamma attitude was actually detrimental and it harmed me. You might think like that, but Geshe says that he personally is not really inclined to accept that position, that if you try it also in your worldly affair to behave in a way that accords with the Dhamma, that it will harm your worldly affairs.
다 나도 탁제 두야디 수수 메세나와야 남산지 비치 따도 약보 장고 삼나 비게 남산지 쇼니시 비 기비신이질 땜바이나 야시자단 펜도여레스 다디메나 땡고야스키요 말았어 디타 탁제 버레스.
And so Geshe reckons that when you then train your mind along with the Dhamma, and it begins, at least in the presentation of the Lamrim, the steps of the path of enlightenment, in training your mind in correctly relying upon a spiritual teacher, then if you do it from a Dhamma perspective in this way, then there would be no problem, there would be no harm. Of course, if you then try to bring those Dhamma ideas to other areas of your life which are not related to the Dhamma, well, that might not work in this way. That will not be that beneficial. Did you have two questions or? Yeah. 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 Dila di Quran la di tiwa chima tomesa. Ne di tiwa di tandu di Quran kare samyore sena di pena di lama la kapsu joina. Ne nobachi yongi ma rese di la di kandichi na stepena di ta pebe tawa mambochi lama la tenayan tamala tsongan la chudwa. Chizan di daran dashin do ke lengogi yona di la chi gomba shen Geshe chi gyana condition di
di chabsiki ne den chirawas tanda yache damare tani ta densan longba manche ta longba manche gi ndengam yorada ani longba shamba shenda shenda sagorasra tijidi ta gyami gi pödu se kawlaya lama giwishi nima muji zonkanala pegu chongyores ina zonkanala pevni zonkanala ya chi namgyu gi mikima nanshin gi ani yorwesana zawa nini pe ani sikje da dembi toni 아니 정간 내려서 변한가서 개를 묻힌다고 했나 정간을 쉬고야냐 그 아니 차베에 돌아야 삼단의 쉬위스 그냥 그런 뒤따도 송거리스 뒤투야도 가르스나 라마 기위신일 때문에 가르쳐 왔어 어도 디 메나 다 비길이야 직자다 남자다 비 마기보 거랑 토네 엔정간을 대고에 착시기로 왔어 디 매버디 라마 기위신이 가르는 템버레스 이내야 아주 최전에 비기 야컵 그 찹시기 카쇼 교탄 투거스나 리투 마레스 소수 최기 소수 샘 교탄야레 모두 아니 찹시기 카쇼 교탄 투거스나 리투 마레스라.
And so the way that Geshe thinks about it is particularly in relation to, for example, what happened in Tibet. What happened in Tibet, even as far as when China took over Tibet, then many monks and lamas ended up in prison, labor camps for years on end. This is something that happens with politics, and global politics. So then we see that also happening at this point in time where you have some countries which are quite aggressive, attempting to take over other countries. And so even in the case of Tibet, when China came into Tibet and occupied it, took over, many lamas and virtuous friends, as we said, ended up in prisons or labor camps. But some of them still maintain a life that is, you can say, full of splendor, in the sense that at least Geshe's teacher says that, told that when he was in labor camp for 9 years, and he said that he had sometimes time at hand where he was able to think of the things that he studied before. So he used to repeat the things that he memorized before. He had more time to think about those things again and again and to look at them from different perspectives. And so he said that in the great scheme of things, this time was actually quite useful because the understanding that he developed through that was a more deeper understanding of the Dhamma. And so then Geshe says that when you think about it in terms of relying upon a spiritual friend, and not going through harm, then in the case of Geshe's teacher, was it really harmful for him to be in prison if he had developed a better understanding of the Dhamma? So in this from this perspective, when you think about it from the perspective of Dhamma, you can think about it in one way. But then, of course, when you think about it from a different perspective, from a political perspective or global politics and so forth, Geshe reckons that if someone claims that you can practice the Dhamma well and therefore not experience the upheavals of global politics, Geshe does not think that that's a valid statement. You cannot really overcome such things if you're just going to practice meditation well, or you're just going to be a good practitioner.
And the Jawram Kadin Stongoda. The chisu, the Geshe Kadanglia, and it's on Ganan Tar. Travel against Jagaleris. Jagal and Jawrum Chit, and Jongan on the country children. Like in the Penyanga Chons on that. And the Jawrum Yanga Harrison, Jawrum Gombalea, Pet Sedo Chimendo Gonda, and Kugi, Piggy, Police da Mamutuzlia, Ninji Lauder Chessons. The Jawrum Saleni. Jackson Shake Maristra. Only Dindiors that are to so Dindig lot of the Lama giving them garden then Chongores. Yamsam within the Kanji, Yamlin changing by the Georgia Pande Andesha, any pig, Tonlen Gomni, any Musupe, any Zene Shiagi, Lurgildo Asra. Dindiors that the Nanzu Chitangi, Nanzu. Jigdeng Dodang, Tini Zoni in Mantubachi Reshas, Jizumeli Somatera, neither the Jigden Yombaton, the Jigden and Yombaton Tongo Gires, neither the Canada Yombaton said, one did the youngers.
It's honest, the Dalai Lama told a story before one of his encounters with someone that remained in a prison camp, a labor camp, for a few decades. And when he was released from prison, finally, he's made his way to India. It was maybe at the beginning of the 90s or late 80s. And he had a private audience with his honest, and he told him about his experiences in prison. And he said that at some point he experienced a very dangerous situation, and his honest was concerned. He thought that he has probably experienced some life dangers, being about to be killed or executed. And that monk said that the danger was that he was about to lose his compassion towards his oppressors, prison guards and so forth. And so then we think of relying upon a spiritual teacher and not experiencing harm, when we can think about it in this way. And so then on top of that, of course, there are some stories that you find in the Buddhist tradition that could suggest slightly otherwise, in a sense that through practicing the Dharma, you might be able to overcome some things in the world itself. Like, for example, there's one story related to Atisha saying that through his meditation on giving and taking, he was able to completely heal leprosy. So this is kind of something that you read through and you think that this is pretty incredible. Or also, one thing that Milarepa said in one of his spiritual songs, it says that when the world looks at me, they think that I'm crazy. But when I look at the world, I think that they're crazy. And so with some points, of course, when you look at the Dhamma and the world, there are some things that seems to have discrepancies.
I think 이게 제질이야. 아주다 라마 소버무치. 라마 소버무치 갑질이야. 도지되는 편으로. 도지된 자 도지된이야. 도장 쉬어라다. 아니 비게 남자 찬자 비치네. 도장이야. 타지 못한스라. 내가 도장 간지 소자는 람상 베디 지그러서. 근데 원리 샴페인 그 상물디 쉬어지게 아니 샘나 레온디게 펜칼 토토 그 때마다 베지 나지 차를 상성 그 상물디 야시야다 연구해서 말해. 듣사마 라마 기회시니까 되지.
Det kan han tonda.
Ingen Thomas den är kost. Vanda.
Och Geshe heard about Kyabje Lama Sovereign Rinpoche that in one of his visits to Bodh Gaya in India, he was bitten by mosquitoes. So his reaction to that was to remove his shirt and to expose his body in a greater way so that more mosquitoes can drink his blood, to feed him. And so for us, probably one mosquito would be unbearable. But with a change of attitude, not only you would not think that this is harming me, you would think that this is beneficial because I'm benefiting others.
Thank you.
Terry? Kolla chute slabre.
Ale.
Tadi Koran kalla nenshin yamaden dochi. Chiwadi nemo koin yosani. Tenda lama di tansan kalla gyoresana. Tenda chik novachi juwa ngone soda chembores lechi tayong gyores nenchi chiksoyandes.
Shawara.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's leave it here for today. Thank you very much. We will continue with those teachings on Sunday, so feel free to come along or join us online. We will finish with the final Lamrim dedication. For my two collections, fastest space
Tendency
never mess from working with effort that is practiced for a great length of time. May I become the chief leading Buddha of all those whose minds, wisdom, eyes blinded by ignorance. Even if I do not reach this state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all lives and may I find the best of complete graded parts of the teachings, and may I please all Buddhas by my practice. Using skillful means strong but strong force of compassion. May I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path that I've discerned it. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time, with my heart going up with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread, or once spread have declined. May I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bound to his peace. May the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by even this great path enlightenment, completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and create conducive conditions for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtues practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may ocean of prosperity spread everywhere. Thank you.